Chandran, exercise physiologist and certified yoga instructor. Adam has asked me if I'd help out BodyWeightCoach.com by answering some of the yoga-related questions that are posted to the blog. Recently, a question was asked about how to safely and correctly perform full bridge or wheel pose. Wheel pose is a very advanced backward bend that requires a tremendous amount of flexibility and strength throughout the back, chest, legs, and arms. Time at the computer, hours behind the steering wheel, text messaging, etc. has led many of us to rounded shoulders and poor posture. While there are many yoga poses and movements that can be done to increase flexibility and strength necessary for wheel pose, I have chosen 3 postures to get you started. Beginning with the simple backward bend. Come into a standing position, placing the feet directly beneath the hips, hands on the hips as well. You're going to press down through all 4 corners of the feet. This is going to activate the muscles in the legs. You want to keep this pressure constant throughout the movement to stabilize the posture. On an inhalation, you're going to grow the spine tall, crown of the head toward the ceiling, hold the breath, and lean back, making sure that the movement originates from the trunk and the low back and not from the knees. Come back up and exhale. Again, inhale, elongate the spine, holding the breath, lean back, come up, and exhale. Depending on your level of flexibility, there's a tendency to create the backward movement or the backward curve by bending the knees or placing the head back. It's important to keep that pressure going through the feet. That's going to stabilize the posture and help keep you from bending the knees. When the head goes back, there's also a tendency to perhaps cut off the blood supply, which when you come up, you may feel dizzy or lightheaded. So once again, simple backward bend, pressing down into all 4 corners of the feet, activating the muscles of the legs. Inhale, growing the spine long. Hold the breath, lean back, come up, and exhale. And then coming down into a prone position for cobra pose. Placing the big toes together, hands directly underneath your shoulders, slightly wider than the shoulders. Elbows stay in toward the body, pointing behind you. On an inhalation, you're going to pull the shoulder blades down and together and use as much of the low back as possible to lift the chest off the ground. And then, keeping the elbows in close to the sides, assisting with the arms and looking up. The pubic bone stays down and in contact with the floor throughout the movement. And then you're going to exhale and lower. Inhale, activating the upper back. Pulling the shoulders down, coming up. Exhale, lower. Cobra pose can be done dynamically, the way I'm doing it right now. Moving up with an inhalation, down with an exhalation. Or it can be done statically, coming up with an inhalation, breathing normally, and then on an exhalation, coming down to the starting position. When finished, press back into child's pose. This is a counter stretch and relieve some of the tension that was created in the low back. And then finally, coming onto the backs in the supine position, bring the feet as close as possible into the buttocks. This is shoulder pose. Hands on the ankles, if possible, clasping the ankles. You're going to, on the inhalation, pull the shoulders underneath you, pressing down into, once again into all 4 corners of the feet, especially the heels, pressing up the chest and the entire back. On exhalation, release down to the starting position. Inhale, pressing upward. Hold. Exhale, slowly lower. Just like Cobra, Shoulder pose can also be done statically. We've been doing it dynamically. This way you would just inhale and hold, breathing normally for 3 to 5 breaths, and then exhaling and slowly lowering. You can release the posture by straightening the legs and then bringing the knees into the chest. So there you have it. Simple backward bend, cobra, and shoulder pose will get you started so that you can perform wheel pose or full bridge safely and correctly.